Welcome to the Real Estate Investors Marketing Show, where we help real estate investors gain more leads, stronger relationships, and more deals through the power of online marketing. I'm Lindsay Phillips, your content coach and expert on all things content marketing for entrepreneurs and real estate investors. And of course, I have my awesome co-host with me.
I'm Aaron Hughes, her awesome co-host. I'm also a real estate investor and the world's only exclusive real estate investing copywriter.
And marketing genius. Awesome. So, I mean, here's one of those foundational pieces that if you don't know who you're selling to, you're not going to win. So we're talking about how to dial in your avatar. And some people are like, isn't that a movie with all those blue people? Yes. And it was a good movie. I never saw it in 3D. But it was a good movie. Have you seen it?
No, that's not really my thing.
What? It was so good.
It just looked. That's not. we can take this off the podcast, and I'd be happy to tell you,
Fine.
but it's not my scene at all.
Fine. It was a good movie.
No judgment. You can like it. That's great.
Yeah, that's all good.
Just don't ever make me watch it, please.
Fine. No problem. But we can talk about and look at avatars in the marketing world. So an avatar is basically like, I guess like a bio or like characteristic traits or like the description of like your perfect ideal client. And I tell this to people that I do strategy calls for all the time. I'm like, think about the top 5 clients that you've ever had, or your favorites, or the ones that bring you in the most money, or the ones that you want to like duplicate, and write down their characteristics, their pain, why they came to you in the first place, and all that good stuff. So for me, I always think, who are they? What do they want? And where are they? Are there other factors that you think, like everyone thinks avatar slightly differently? Are there other elements of an avatar that you think of, Aaron?
Yeah, I really like the demographic and psychographic kind of balance. Demographic, I like kind of that speaks to what you said already. Who are they? But then I like sort of on the psychographic side, like what are they thinking about? What are they worried about? What are their emotions?
Yeah, I love that. And for you as a writer, that makes total sense. Because you need to get in their head. So I make clients kind of think about, okay, who they are. And like you said, the demographics, like, so in the real estate investing sphere, the where, could you kind of give us some examples in that space?
Yeah. So actually, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example from my own business here.
Perfect.
And of course, we can dial it down into some specifics for real estate investors themselves. But when I decided to stop just being a general writer and start writing for real estate investors, the very same day that I decided to do that, I know no one else can see this, but I can show you, Lindsay, even though because you're on a video, is I have a little card here. This little green recipe card.
Oh my goodness!
It has a fake picture. It's old and beat up now because I have it on my desk here.
Okay, now you need to take a photo of it so I can put it in the show notes.
All right. It has a picture that I cut out from a magazine. It has a fake name on it, and then it has like on down here. I'll take a picture of it. It has like some demographic elements like their age, political affiliation, how much money they make.
Yeah.
And then on the right hand side, it has like a whole bunch of stuff about them. And that has served me well. That's who I thought my ideal client was, and it's adjusted a bit over time, but it is very, very close to almost every client that I work with.
I have never seen anyone do that. Like actually write it down and have like a little index card beside
Everyone
them.
says to do it, and no one does.
That's freaking brilliant. I've never seen that.
I have it here, and it sits on my desk, and I look at it.
Because then they're like top of mind, and you're like zoned in all the time, no matter what you do.
And I love this idea. I heard it once. I didn't think anyone did it, and I did it, and I love it. And that's like put a picture and have a name, and then write. So my guy's name here is Dan, and it's no one I know. Just I know Dan's, and I don't know who this person is, but anyway, is Dan the real estate investor? And I write to Dan when I write.
That is
my
so
content.
cool.
So then you can have other ones too if you write sort of to men and women or whatever. So just to take us now from my writing business, but more to the real estate investor side, if you're writing to motivated sellers. So I do this a little bit for my clients. So I'll kind of write a version of this for my clients. So if I'm writing to a motivated seller who is a senior and they want to sell their home, extract their equity, and move into a senior's home, then that is probably going to be I'm writing to Agnes, and there's a picture of an old lady, and right, what are the things that are important to her? And she has all these great memories in her house, and she has little marks where her grandkids as they were growing up, and she has a big floral couch in her basement and in a wood
I love how
basement.
you paint the picture,
right? But
it helps.
But that's exactly. And now that I'm writing to Agnes, and for the motivated sellers, I'm like, Agnes, I totally get how you feel about not wanting to sell your house. But let me tell you, you bought this house for $10,000 in like 1954, and now it's worth $500,000, and you have earned the rights and the opportunity and ability to go and enjoy your retirement. And just because you're giving up some pencil marks on a wall, it doesn't mean that you're giving up your family. In fact, you can probably take that piece of your wall with you and hang it in your retirement home. So you see that little thing I said off the top of my head makes your copy and also your sales language just so much more relevant to the person.
And relatable.
And then just make sure you go back and subtract out the word Agnes everywhere so that anyone else not named Agnes will still read it and enjoy it.
But
so
it
the
also
same thing
makes you
applies.
sound more like you give a crap. Like it makes you sound like you know what I mean? Like you're empathetic. That's the word I was looking for. Versus
very, very much. So and that works for that's for the motivated seller side. Same thing works the cash buyer side. You just have to think about someone different, right? You're talking to Steve, and Steve is a rundown guy who's making He's barely making the median wage, and he really wants to send his kids to college, and he thinks he's going to have to work until he's 80 years old to pay their college off. And all of a sudden now, your audience becomes very real when you think about your avatar in that way.
That's true. I love it. And the key thing there is like is painting that picture so that you know what their emotions are, what they're attached to, what they're worried about, what their objections will be. And as you said, like with Agnes, like she's not on Facebook or Instagram. She doesn't even know what Instagram is. So part of that where is like, where is she hanging out? Where and how are you going to market to her if, she's not hanging out on Instagram or watching Snapchats or whatever else?
Yeah, that's true. And actually, that's a good point, because this kind of exercise will actually save you money in the long run. It's a little bit of effort up front to think about it and really kind of connect with them and meet people like them if you can.
Yeah.
But then in the long run, think, all of a sudden you don't have to market on Instagram for Agnes, because, and you're going to save yourself hours of time of throwing stuff on there because you're just focused on Agnes. And where does Agnes hang out? She's probably at the Bridge Club, and maybe she reads those little coffee things at the coffee shop, those little
at the grocery store, the little community board or whatever.
Exactly. And one thing I notice here, I'm looking at this list that we've been building about the different things you should have on there. And one thing that I don't see, but as we were talking about it, I realized is you should make a list of the people that your avatar is listening to. Who are the influencers of your avatar? And so not just popular influencers like, Dr. Oz or whatever, like whoever they happen to be watching on TV. But like, for example, for the Agnes character, probably her adult kids are influencing her. And so you need to speak to Agnes, but then talk to or give Agnes tools to talk to her adult children, who will be like, why don't you sell through a real estate agent instead of this real estate investor? Right. So you gotta think about who your avatar is being influenced by.
I love that. And I'm going to take that one step further, because you did mention people that are influencers, is that I always tell my clients too, or people that I'm doing strategy calls with, it's like, see who are leaders in your industry and also who your competition is and where are they hanging out. Not to steal from them or not to copy what they're doing, but it'll give you little indicators as to some of the language that they're using. What are their products? are they like heavy on LinkedIn and not on Facebook? Are they doing videos more than they're doing podcasts? It can give you a lot of good nuggets.
Yeah, and so here's a dirty little secret among copywriters, and I'm going to be blacklisted in among copywriters for sharing this secret. So don't share this far and wide. But this little copywriting tip, and everyone here can apply it, is if you ever want to convince someone of something, which is really what copywriters do, really the secret is it doesn't really matter what solution you have or how you present your solution. What matters is how well you present the problem. And so the more accurately you present the problem and the more you can show, I understand your problem and connect the emotions that you have, you can sell them anything. And of course, please do it ethically. I'm not suggesting anything otherwise. But my point is that copywriters who front load the pain and front load the problem and the emotional connection to the problem are the ones who actually are more successful as copywriters, and the solution barely matters. So that is you
barely
reason.
Like hint at it and they're like jumping at it.
Exactly. So that's a great reason to get deep into your avatar. And I've got just a recipe card here, but you can end up getting pages and pages of an avatar, and that would probably serve you well too.
I know. And you know what some people ask me, Aaron, is like, how the heck do I understand my avatar? Because some people are like, well, I kind of get it, but they're not like, maybe they weren't there once. Do you know what I mean? Some people can totally like been there, done that, felt the pain. I'm like selling what I would have bought 10 years ago. And so what I always tell them is ask, like go to your, best clients or whoever, have a conversation with them, if you've got a big list, do a survey, I remember doing this for one of the clients, I think, it was with you too, a number of years ago. And it was even just like, where do you get your information or something like that? It was something pretty basic in regards to a survey. And we found out that like a crazy percentage of people were watching YouTube versus something else. And we thought it would be totally something else. And we're like, hot damn, like don't put your time and efforts into these social media platforms. Like put your time and effort into videos with YouTube, because that's where they're hanging out. It's like, you just ask.
Yeah, and so that goes back to what you're saying at the beginning, is don't just ask anyone and don't try to guess, but pick your top 5 best clients, the ones who are most profitable or most fun to work with or whatever, and start with them. What was common about them? What is common about them that none of your other clients have? Like what are the qualities that those best 5 have that none of your other clients have? And that will really help you narrow it down, and then try to find those people and hang out with them.
Absolutely. And of course, in a past episode, we were talking about branding. So all this information about your avatar that you've documented and tracked, don't just write it down and then forget it. Put it in your branding document so that like vendors and team members that you have come on board so that they too understand your avatar. Because if other people are working within your business, you want them to have the same mindset as you and speak to your avatar in the same way.
Yeah, that's huge, because a lot of people are, as you said just a minute ago, they're coming from different perspectives and they need to understand the avatar. And so, I think we've seen this with some clients that, a first pass through their content, we can see that they're maybe speaking, they've hired someone else who's, just young and tried writing but didn't understand who the audience was. We got to kind of...
Or it was all salesy versus based or whatever.
Try to connect them with... who the real avatar is.
I know. It's a really, really good exercise to go through. It feeds your content, it feeds your message, and it'll help you attract your clients so much faster.
And this conversation reminded me of way back in college. I took some counseling courses. I have a weird undergrad degree, and and I was fascinated by one of my one class, and she was like a psychologist and a counselor, and she said that she would, even though she had herself, the professor had never been married, she was counseling people who were going through divorce. And so one of the other students in the class asked her, how can you counsel people going through divorce if you've never really been married? And she said, well, she may not have experienced marriage and divorce, but she knows what it means to love someone, and she knows what it means to lose someone or to have some conflict in a relationship. And so even if you yourself are not your avatar, maybe you've never gone through a motivated seller situation yourself, or even if you yourself are not a senior looking to extract your equity and retire, you know what it means to be in a desperate situation and willing to do whatever it takes to save your family. Or you may be in a situation where you feel super nostalgic about your home and you are reluctant to move. So I would say for our listeners, you don't have to pick an avatar who is like you.
No.
As long as you understand what their emotions are and you find a way to connect those emotions to something that is common for you.
Yeah. And I think if you're authentic and you actually, you care and you're in the business to help people for a reason versus just making money, it'll come through.
Yeah, that's huge. That's really good.
Awesome. So that's a wrap, folks, for the Real Estate Investors Marketing Show for today. Thanks for listening, and congrats on taking steps to market your investing business. So whether you're involved in wholesaling, flipping, note investing, single or multifamily, commercial, syndication, or coaching, we get what you do and what marketing strategies will help you reach your goals. So be sure to join the Real Estate Investors Marketing Group in Facebook. We actually share a ton of strategies, tools, and tips and tricks to grow your authority and build more relationships and market your real estate investing business. So head to reimarketinggroup.com. All right, till next time, my friends.
See you later.